Good morning, all you activists and revolutionaries tuning in across the globe. You're listening to 107.1 WRFN, LP FM Pasquo, Radio Free Nashville. I'm Matt Hamill, and this is This Occupied Life, a radio show dedicated to informing you about what the Occupy movement is, what we are protesting, why we're here, how we got started, and where we are headed next. This show is recorded, edited, and produced internally, in a tent, on-site at Legislative Plaza in downtown Nashville. On today's show, we will be speaking with some people who are behind the scenes at Occupy Nashville, to give you a look inside the infrastructure that is in place at the plaza. In Act 1 of today's show, we speak to a man named Wolfie, a member of the hacktivist organization Anonymous. Who are they, and what is their role in the Occupy movement? In Act 2, we speak with Jason, a member of Occupy Nashville's social media team, to get a better view of the importance of occupations creating their own media resources to help amplify the voice of the people. In Act 3, we will be taking a closer look into what all has happened recently in Occupy Nashville, what all actions have been carried out, what they have accomplished, and what they have planned next. So thank you for tuning in. This is This Occupied Life.
Citizens of the world, we are anonymous. We have been monitoring the events currently taking place. The decision made by the New York Police Department and the City of New York displeases us. A city cannot have the power to destroy the people's right to free speech and assembly. We've been called by various supporters of the Occupy Wall Street movement for our help. We will not disappoint them. We shall continue to target New York Supreme Court Justice Michael Stallman until he repeals his decision and allows the protesters to return to camp in Zuccotti Park. In addition, we have decided to take drastic measures in ensuring that this happens. We have released Justice Michael Stallman's private information as well as others supporting his decision. Citizens of the world, hear us now. The time has come to rise up. It is time to rise against the system. The system has now met its match, and the people shall prevail. We will participate in this war. There will be no stopping us. If the government presents a threat to us, they will expect no mercy. We shall terminate this system indefinitely. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
That was audio from one of the newest press releases from the hacktivist organization Anonymous. This video was posted on YouTube as a result of the police brutality that took place during the eviction of the Occupy Wall Street demonstration in Zuccotti Park. I met with Wolfie, who is a member of Anonymous Operations, also known as Anon Ops, to learn more about Anonymous's role in the Occupy movement.
Anonymous is a loose organization of people globally that all generally have the same idealism and goals, not necessarily always. But because we're all-inclusive, we allow anyone to join. But basically, we're here to stop corruption and promote free information.
So when and how did Anonymous start?
Anonymous started in about 2003 with the advent of the 4chan image board. Basically, any user could post there without any registration, and the name would always show up as Anonymous, and that's the origins.
So what are some of the things Anonymous has achieved since they started?
Well, back in early December of 2010, Visa, PayPal, and MasterCard had started to freeze donations to WikiLeaks. There was a large public outcry about this because this was money that we had sent to them. We felt that they had no right to just freeze the funds and hold on to them for themselves. We initiated several campaigns against Visa, PayPal, and MasterCard that resulted in their websites not being able to be accessed for extended periods of time. So we definitely helped out a lot with that, and it raised a lot of awareness towards the WikiLeaks issue and Bradley Manning himself. After that, because of a lot of the revolts over in the Middle East, such as Syria and Egypt and Libya, their governments tried to shut down their internet access and stop them from reaching social media sites. So we helped them get backdoors, proxies, VPNs, and stuff like that to make sure that they were still able to spread the information. This way they were not contained and had a media blackout within their country.
So what else has Anonymous done to make a stand against censorship of information?
Well, there have been various hacks against a lot of police organizations throughout the United States, for one, where we have gone in and released internal emails that were showing corruption within our police force. Another thing was there was a large attack against H.B. Gary, and H.B. Gary, when we got into their emails, clearly showed that they were trying to pretty much blackmail and shut down a lot of U.S. reporters who were supporting WikiLeaks. And so we were able to expose corruption not only with H.B. Gary, but with other companies that they were working with to pretty much try to blackmail and shut down this information from being leaked.
What is a dox?
A dox is basically the documents pertaining to usually a person. So when you say someone has been doxed, usually their name, address, phone number, email, and any other associated information with them has been released to the public and is widespread.
So what is the dox procedure?
Basically, we ask, hey, we need to go ahead and dox this person. Everyone goes out and gathers as much information as they can. We put it all together and compile it into one large release, and then usually we release it on Pastebin because it's not taken down, and it makes it very easy for us to spread it wide and see how many views we've gotten on it as well. It requires no logins or anything like that, so it makes it very easy to disseminate that information.
What is the procedure for Anon operations?
Well, basically a lot like the Occupy movement. We have proposals, and they're pretty much voted on. We get a consensus as to what needs to be done and how it's going to be done. Sometimes we can take several days deliberating this, and then if the operation is pretty much given the go-ahead by our group, then we go ahead and we start.
So anyone can propose an Anon operation?
Absolutely. Anyone can. We invite the general public and just the entire globe to come speak with us at any time because you never know where a good idea is going to come from.
Well, let me ask you this. If a person was to propose an Anon operation, but no one in the anonymous group supported it, but the person still took it upon themselves to carry out that operation under the name of Anonymous, how would the group respond?
Well, particularly the first thing we would do is we would start having press releases where we denounced that action and said that the group as a whole did not support it. If they were hosting it on our IRC network, we would shut down any relevant channels that they had opened because of it, and we would block access to those channels, just basically saying that, we're not going to remove you from the network for having an idea we don't agree with, but we are going to attempt to stop you from using our network. Anything you do outside of our network is on you, and of course anyone can, fly the anonymous name for any operation. But if you're within our group internally and you try to do something we don't like, we're just going to put a stop to it right there. I mean, if you take it outside of the network and still continue, then so be it. We can't necessarily stop you, but we will put out press releases to explain that, us as a group, as a whole, do not necessarily agree with the actions that you have been taking.
So how did Anonymous become involved with Occupy Wall Street and the other occupations across the globe?
Well, Adbusters came up with the idea originally, but we didn't see that the information was being disseminated properly. It wasn't reaching a widespread audience. We thought it was a good idea, so it was brought up in topic on our network, and we decided that was something we definitely wanted to get behind. We thought it was an excellent idea for the start of a movement, so we started doing press releases, making banners, making logos, flyers, and stuff like that, and we started to distribute the information across the internet and happened in real life to try to raise awareness about it and see if we could actually make it happen.
Since Anonymous is basically behind the scenes, so to speak, how involved is Anonymous in the Occupy movement?
I'd actually have to say that we're quite involved in the movement, not only online as far as distributing information, but we have a lot of our members from our group on the ground at a lot of Occupies. That's how we're able to keep up on information at a rapid pace. And as far as behind the scenes go, we're actually rather transparent. You can come to our network anytime that you want. We have an Occupy Wall Street channel. We use that to disseminate information constantly. We talk with each other, 24/7, and just try to keep tabs on what's going on and how we can help improve the movement and what we can do to help more.
So I hear that the FBI is very interested in infiltrating anonymous operations. Is that accurate?
Not only is that accurate, but to my knowledge, they have actually came out and said that they are monitoring our network 24/7. We believe this to be extremely accurate based on the arrests that have happened in the past already. And it's something that we're used to at this point. We always tell everyone that comes in, just assume everything that you're saying in the channels is being logged and monitored. And we just try to encourage people to have basic internet safety. Don't broadcast where you're from, your name, or anything pertinent like that. And, above all, stay safe and, don't broadcast everything. But other than that, we do stay open, and we don't mind the fact that they're monitoring us because we like transparency.
I also heard that the FBI had actually succeeded in infiltrating Anon Ops and actually acquired over 400 members' personal information. Is that true, and what are your comments on that?
As to the number of over 400, I can't speak to that specifically, but we do know that the FBI definitely succeeded in infiltrating us. We definitely know they're there 24/7 now. They acquired a large number of people's personal information. We've had 14 in the U.S. alone that are being prosecuted as we speak and going through the court systems. And we wish them nothing but the best. We try to keep tabs on how that legal battle is going. And, we hope that they come out on the good end of things because we're doing nothing here but fighting for freedom of information and fighting corruption.
What do you think Anonymous's response will be to those infiltrations?
That would be the same response we have to just about any infiltration. We heighten security. We try to make our users and our members more aware of what's going on, and then we will retaliate when we feel it's necessary.
So what does Anonymous have planned next?
We always have various operations in the works, so many of them sometimes that it's hard for one person to even keep track of what's all going on. But we do have a few things possibly in store for New York City because of the police brutality that they've had towards the members of the Occupy movement, especially in Zuccotti Park.
How did you personally get involved with Anonymous?
I had been browsing the internet back in November of 2010, and I had seen a post on 4chan, of all places, that had indicated that there was an IRC network being organized where we were going to attempt to do something about Visa, PayPal, and MasterCard shutting down funds to WikiLeaks. Having used IRC for well over a decade, I was just curious to see how their network was set up to begin with and whether or not the people there actually had any technical skills. So I showed up and watched for a few days. I met a bunch of interesting people who had a lot of good ideas, and so I stuck around to help out with everything that was going on, and lo and behold, we were able to succeed in astronomical measures.
Are you, as a member of Anonymous, concerned for your safety?
I would have to say I'm always concerned for my safety, knowing that the FBI is monitoring us 24/7, and the fact that they obviously don't like some of the things we're doing, even the legal things that we're doing. I am definitely concerned for my safety all the time. One of our members, who is currently going through the court system, basically hit PayPal with the equivalent of a cell phone call and is actually going through court proceedings for a distributed denial of service attack when the amount of data she sent amounted to no more than a brief phone call.
How do you feel about being labeled as a terrorist organization?
I find it very unpleasant, obviously, that my own government has labeled us as a terrorist organization when we're fighting for freedom of information, transparency, and to remove the corruption from all of our corporations, not only here in the United States, but across the globe. And so it's a really unsettling fact that, when we seek transparency of information, that we're labeled as a terrorist organization just because these companies don't like us.
How do you feel personally about the impact Anonymous has had not only on your nation, but across the globe?
I'd say it's a tremendous feeling of happiness that we've been able to have not only an impact on the nation, but globally in the fight for freedom. Between Syria, Libya, Egypt, various other countries, this isn't just happening in the United States like a lot of us here would think. We've had such an impact globally that people, they monitor news for us. Various world governments try to keep tabs on us 24/7 if possible. And to know that we've had that type of an impact is an absolutely wonderful feeling, because it lets you know that, even one person with a good idea can still go make something important happen and make change.
So if a person was interested in joining Anonymous or Anonymous operations, how would they do so?
Typically speaking, you can take any IRC client and connect it to irc.anonops.li. Right now, we're unable to connect through IPv4, so you'll have to use IPv6 or Tor. For the general public, the easiest way to get there is to open up your web browser and point it to irc.lc/anonops. Once again, that's ANONOPS. That will actually tunnel you through IPv6. You won't have to have a client. We have one right there on the website, and you can come right in and talk to us. We encourage the general public, anyone curious, or any news media who wants to speak with us to hop in at any time. We're there 24/7, and we'd love to meet you all.
Special thanks to Wolfie for taking the time to sit down and talk with me, and for giving us a little more information about what is truly going on behind the scenes at Anonymous Operations.
I'm the de facto leader of a movement, screaming hack the planet back in 99. Activism in its prime, global hell had the dot mill rooted. Alphabet soup in they troops in the suits, kid kicking down doors and seizing my equipment, blocking on my shipments, sitting on they hit list. Whole day radical, lymphatic beat addict in the stab hit. I envelope the game, call me rabbit. Hop to hop, I run the internet equivocally. Bitch, I be hit 'em with the bite style symmetry. Digital gangsta reppin' till I'm dead. Steady grip Apache logs when I'm looking for the feds. Fast forward, now the internet anonymous and captains of the low.
So one of the most important tools in all of the occupations across the globe is the utilization of social media to distribute information to the public. In Act 2 of today's show, I met with Jason, a member of Occupy Nashville's social media team, to get a little more information about how important it is to form our own media outlets internally and to utilize them to amplify the voice of the people and their message. So I hear that Occupy Nashville has one of the strongest social media and networking teams in the country. What did you guys have to do to set up such a strong infrastructure in order to get your message out?
I think the infrastructure just came along with the people. We had so many great, talented people that started our social media here at Occupy Nashville. They came from the live streams, Facebook, Twitter, and we've got so many people that are diverse in so many of those areas, and they just all kind of came together. And really working with the local media, that we just kind of got together, and a great thing happened. We came up with this great social media team that all works together and has a lot of fun doing what we do.
What all networking platforms and social media sites have you been utilizing in an effort to amplify the voice of the occupation?
Well, we started out with Facebook, of course. That was the biggest thing we started with. From there, Twitter followed as well. And now what's become our biggest one would be live stream. That's probably the biggest response that we've seen as far as getting people out into the movement and informing them about the movement and being interactive. We also have the forums on the website as well. So pretty much any venue that anyone uses for social media, we have an outlet there for it.
So, since local and national media coverage has been very limited, how important is it to create your own press, and how have you been doing so?
It's very important. If you want to get the true story out there, there's going to be a lot of situations where there's going to be nobody watching except for the media team. You know, not all the time is there going to be a national or even a local station that's covering what you do. So you kind of have to pick up their slack and get the true story out there to the folks that are watching. And I guess the best way we've done that is through our live stream, through our Facebook, through our Twitter updates. We do all those pretty much real time, and that's probably the easiest way that we found to do it.
So for those out here who may not know, what exactly is a live stream?
Live stream is this great tool that some folks came up with a while back. You would think it was invented for the Occupy movement because it works so well, but it wasn't. Livestream is an application where you can go to a website on your computer, log in, take your camera and microphone, and broadcast it to everyone in the world that wants to log in and watch. You can go to the Livestream site, or we have it set up on the OccupyNashville.org site. And not only does it allow you to broadcast to people, but you can also interact. They have a real-time chat room function there that people can chat with you live, see the events that are going on. And it's just a great tool, and almost all the occupations have some form of the live stream or Ustream service, it looks like.
So why is live stream so essential, and how important is it for every occupation to have a live stream?
I think the live stream, to quote a word that Judge Trauger used, is quintessential in our success. Not only does it allow people to see what you're doing, but it draws people in. I couldn't even begin to count the number of people that have said, hey, I've seen you guys on the live stream. I recognize your face. I see you guys are friendly. You're normal people just like we are. And we want to come down and see you. We want to come down and meet you guys. Or it also quells some fears. Sometimes people are afraid to come down to the plaza where people are living in tents. You know, they just have that, that questioning about, is it safe? What can I do? What are people going to be like when I get there? And Livestream allows them to interact with folks that are here before they actually come down to the plaza. Makes them feel a whole lot more comfortable. They really already have built up a relationship and know people on there before they even come down. So I think that's been a real great help for us as well.
What has been the public's response to some of the media you guys have been producing?
Oh, wow. The public response has been overwhelmingly great. Of course, as with any group of people, some people are going to be pro and some people are going to be against. But overwhelmingly, I would say a majority of our response has been great to our media, both the stuff that we've produced and the stories that have covered us. We get calls and emails from other occupations asking if we can come help live stream their event. We just had a member of our occupation that went up to Denver last week to help try to get them set up with some of their media and help getting their word out as well. It's a good thing.
So although there may only be 48 tents on the plaza, how many supporters do you think there are behind the scenes, and what kind of role do they play?
I've said it all. I used to say for every one person on the plaza, there's 10 at home supporting us behind the scenes, but I think it's a few more than that now. Take, for instance, just our live stream and Twitter and Facebook. Those three venues that we staff 24/7, we may have one or two people here in the media tent all those hours, but there's 2 or 3 people working on the website and the Twitter and the Facebook getting those posts out all the time. There's producers in the live stream studios at their homes making sure the graphics packages are added and storyboards are set up for the video on demand. So just helping the stuff run for every one of us that are here, there's 10 out there behind the scenes actually making stuff work and turning the gears behind the scenes that you guys will never see. Sometimes they'll come out to the GAs, but and those are a lot of people that don't ask for a lot of feedback, I guess. They just kind of do it because it's what they like to do, and they like to be behind the scenes and make things work.
So how many donations do you think the occupation has received as a result of social media?
Oh, Occupy Nashville, I can speak for, has had an amazing amount of donations from social media. I think an interesting thing is that we put our donations list up on the forum, and it'll stay there, and 3 or 4 people a day might read it and go through the list, but it's so cumbersome. When we use like the live stream or the Twitter to get an announcement out of, hey, we need water. Just the other day we posted that we were out of water at the plaza. Within an hour, we had over 20 cases of water delivered to the plaza just from people that seen the post, heard about it on the live stream, were in the area or on their way home, dropped off water. And just the varying amount of donations from food and water, networking equipment, power supply, solar panels, have all come from people that seen our live stream and interacted with our people on there, and people just felt the need to come out. They were folks that couldn't come out and occupy, but yet they did want to help the movement. So they did what they could. They interacted with folks and brought all kinds of donations down. It's been truly amazing.
So what does social media have planned next?
We've got a lot of great stuff planned. Obviously, we've already saturated everything that you can think of: Twitter, Facebook, live stream, and everything like that. So now we're going to try to expand on what we had and share our knowledge. On December 2nd, we're going to have the statewide GA and assembly here and camp out here at Legislative Plaza. We're going to be doing IT teach-ins, live stream teach-ins to try to help spread the message and help other occupations, if they need help in that area, do what we do.
What kind of results have you personally seen as a result of social media documentation?
Well, I think one of the biggest, results that we've seen was about a week or so ago, there was a firefighter that was on duty here in Nashville, and he chose to take the time out of his daily duties to say some bad things he shouldn't have been saying, and expressing his personal viewpoints while on duty and performing his job nearby the plaza. We happen to document it on video, as we do document any interactions, and we actually get calls from the police chief and the deputy police chief apologizing overtly for his actions, making sure we knew that he did not speak for the department. Quick moments like that normally would have never been called and would just been an interaction between two people and forgotten about, was posted on YouTube and our Facebook page and the internet, and people saw that and they got to see the response of this person, and we got almost an immediate, a couple of days later, response from his superiors letting us know that they apologized for his actions and that they were handling it appropriately. So, just that instant results like that is something that social media provide that 20 years ago you wouldn't have had.
Okay, so Jason, how did you personally get involved with Occupy Nashville as well as their social media team?
Well, that's kind of a funny story, because I've been talking about how our Occupier live stream reaches out to people, and I was actually just kind of reading the news and reading through some live stream, or watching some live stream footage of Occupies, and I came across Nashville's, and I seen this kid named Sean on there, and I started interacting with him, and there was some other folks on there as well, and I said, hey, how would you guys like some hot breakfast one morning? So it was a late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. I come down and I made sausage and biscuits and brought them down for all the guys here, and just kind of introduced myself. And I'd really believed in the cause, but I was more of a couch protester, as I called it. I really didn't call myself a couch occupier at the time, but I was a couch protester. And once I came down and actually interacted with everybody that I'd met on the live stream, I realized this really wasn't such a bad place to be protesting at all. And I made some time in my schedule in my life to be able to do that. So live stream really brought me into the movement, and I was a mass communications major at MTSU, so the social media part just kind of fell right into my lap. So I just kind of got in with everybody and did what I was good at and what I knew, and that happened to be social media.
So if a person was interested in joining Occupy Nashville or their social media team, how would they do so?
Super easy, guys. Just come out to one of our GAs. We break out into working groups, and whenever we have our media working group, you would just hop right on over and say, hey, guys, I want to help, and we would definitely more than welcome you.
Special thanks to Jason Steeman for taking the time out of his busy schedule to meet with me and giving me a true insider look into the infrastructure of Occupy Nashville's networking and social media teams. Jason has temporarily walked away from his life in an effort to fully devote himself to this movement and its cause. If I didn't drop everything and fully commit myself to this when I had the chance, I would regret it for the rest of my life, Jason stated when we weren't recording. It's good to know that I am having a positive impact on the world around me.
Just like always.
In Act 3 of today's show, we'll be meeting with Brittany, a member of Occupy Nashville's Direct Action team, to get a look at what all Occupy Nashville has been doing in the past few weeks. Brittany and I met at a restaurant just a block from the plaza, and this is what she had to say.
I am a recent college graduate, currently bartending, applying to graduate school with for public health with a focus in health policy and organization. I was aware of the movement when it first started, but wasn't really enthusiastic about it until I saw some of the NYPD response to the movement and started paying more attention, listening to the message. The message was growing. It was working to incorporate more voices that aren't normally heard in society, particularly those of minorities and of women, and those in lower income brackets. And so as soon as I found out that Occupy Nashville was getting started, I had to get involved.
And what is the level of involvement that you have in the movement?
The level of involvement I have isn't as high as I would like. Grad school applications and work are kind of draining, but I'm involved in outreach. I'm involved in direct action. I am currently working with a few other women on the plaza to try to get a women's discussion group started. So I would say that I'm fairly involved.
And what are some of the things that Direct Action has been doing in the past couple of weeks?
Direct Action has been very busy in the past couple weeks. November 10th, which was a Thursday, we had a bank transfer day, get your money out of big banks. We had a teach-in about local credit unions and the benefits of credit unions and why you should get your money out of banks such as Bank of America, Regions, SunTrust, etc. So on Thursday, November 10th, following up to that, we actually managed to shut down Bank of America. It only took 10 people. They went out there, were incredible with their signs. Bank of America actually kind of freaked out over it, put chairs in front of their windows. It was beautiful. And so we continued that on Friday, November 11th, and we spread it over to Regions and Bank of America because 10 people obviously scared them. So what if we just took 10 people to both groups or both banks? So we targeted the banks. We actually, when we do direct actions, we try to inform people as to why we're taking this action, so it doesn't just seem like, we're uninformed, unorganized, we're just going to protest. We want people to know that there is a reason we're going to these places, that we are trying to make a statement with our action. It's an informed statement. We have facts, and it's a good way to educate people. We don't shut down Bank of America to punish the consumer. When they walk through the people who are marching outside, they have to stop and they have to be like, why is Bank of America closed down? And we can explain to them why we're out there with our signs, why we disagree with what Bank of America is doing, and maybe they'll take their money out. Maybe they'll move it to Old Hickory Credit Union. On Saturday, we had a teach-in about CCA, which is the Corrections Corporation of America, which actually profits off imprisoning people, which makes the prison system seem a little unjust. It actually gives you an incentive to put people in jail, which, while there are, heinous crimes being committed, I don't think that we need to make incentives for jailing people. So there was a teach-in on Saturday about that, and then on Monday we had a protest at CCA. The protest was done really beautifully. They held a human auction beforehand to kind of emphasize the idea that we are literally selling people to corporations. We're selling them as slave labor. You can look, and I'm not sure if it's still going on. It might have been shut down, but there was actually a push to get rid of low-wage workers and replace them with prisoners. And this is the reality that we live in, and we need to draw attention to those facts because it's not an acceptable. We're talking about unemploying people and using essentially slaves to do work. So the CCA protest, the human auction, was a comment on that. Arts and Culture actually had their first outing. They had made picket bars, which they attached really, really nice wooden signs to that had slogans such as time equals money, etc., emphasizing further the point that the longer the sentence, the more money that CCA is going to make off the prisoner, giving a further incentive to put people in jail for longer periods of time. We then we took a day break, and on November 16th, there was a day of solidarity with other occupation movements. So our action was to have a funeral for the First Amendment in front of the Department of Homeland Security. We found out that on that day, mayors of 18 towns or cities containing occupations were on a conference call together. What I just learned from an article written by Naomi Wolf is that Department of Homeland Security was also in on this conference call. So it's only appropriate that we make known to the Department of Homeland Security that they are butchering our First Amendment rights. We had an actual funeral. We had a gentleman from Occupy Wall Street who came down and stayed with us for a few weeks, who was the reverend presiding over the funeral. It was really beautifully done. We had people lying in front of the graves. All day long you could see people walking by, kind of perplexed, stopping to look at the graves that said, here lies our right to assemble, murdered by the Department of Homeland Security and Bill Haslam. So it was very tastefully done, very artistically done. The graves looked amazing, and again, making a strong statement. And everyone who was involved in that action could easily tell you why they were out there and explain to you how our constitutional rights are being threatened at this moment. So from there, we went on Thursday. Donald Rumsfeld was in town, and Donald Rumsfeld is a huge part of the war machine that we have here, which allows companies like Halliburton to essentially build empires in the Middle East. So we felt like it would be appropriate to give Donald Rumsfeld a very nice welcome from Occupy Nashville. We had about 150 to 200 people outside chanting, demanding that Donald Rumsfeld surrender himself to a citizen's arrest, which would have been a beautiful moment in the American people's history. We had some people actually in the dinner, which was unbeknown to most of us. And we had a group of about 5 people also try to get in there. These people proceeded to go in and to make known their opinion that Donald Rumsfeld is a war criminal. He's a torturer. He is somebody who supports the military-industrial complex, which does not take into consideration the American troops, but only the 1% who profit from the industry of war. The success of this protest, despite the fact that we did not get Rumsfeld under citizen's arrest, led to such joy that we marched down to Broadway, and we proceeded to dance in the streets and shut down some intersections. It was brief, but it was beautiful, and we were joined by some street musicians. We had our signs, we had banners. It was a party. We marched back up, took over the streets, took over Fifth Avenue, Church Street, and chanted the whole way, showed solidarity with Wall Street, with Oakland, with LA, who have been taking their streets for weeks now. And it's something that we hope to continue. To capitalize on the good feelings, we had a square dance on Saturday night, which I personally did not attend, but there were approximately 200 people in attendance, and things like square dances, while maybe they're not politically in your face, I think they're really good for the community. They're really good to keep everyone in good spirits, because it is hard to constantly be going out there and yelling at banks, to be going out and yelling at politicians, yelling at people shopping at Walmart. It's exhausting and draining, so sometimes you have to have a square dance. Thursday we had Thanksgiving dinner. All the food groups were represented, or all the food preferences, vegetarian, vegan, meat eaters. I believe that adequate respect was paid to the indigenous people of America, whose land we are occupying. And Thursday night, as everyone else was lining up to go and consume, we flash mobbed Target and Walmart. We managed to get into Walmart, where we mic checked, and we sang them a few carols that we altered the words to, We alter the words to emphasize our point of focus on corporate greed, and how, as long as we continue to shop at these stores, we're allowing the CEOs to get away with it, and we're actually pepper spraying each other in our attempts to consume more, whereas we should be standing together and helping each other out. So we mic checked in Walmart. We got a lot of support there, both from employees and from customers. And then we went to Target, which is actually one of my favorite actions that we have had thus far. We organized in the parking lot. We had 2 cars, well, 1 van and a car. Everybody who was flash mobbing was in the back of the van. We jumped out. We did a little dance to Michael Jackson. Occupy Nashville is full of horrible, horrible dancers. And then we mic checked, we sang, and we informed them that Target actually gets their clothing from Jordanian rape factories. These women are paid 61 cents an hour. They're raped. If they become pregnant, they're sent back to their countries. They're usually Sri Lankan. So they're sent back to Sri Lanka to essentially have the child of their rapist in poverty. So if you're shopping at Target, you should consider that. Friday was National Buy Nothing Day, so flash mobs occurred throughout the day. The food court at Green Hills was hit. They sang a few songs, and again spread their message of how corporate greed is pretty much ruining us all because we're stampeding each other to try to consume more. After that, we marched to Trader Joe's, which is, if you're not familiar with it, it's a grocery store chain that considers itself to be very, very politically correct, socially conscious, environmentally friendly, except for the fact that they are actually horribly underpaying farmers, and they refuse to address this. So we delivered a letter to their manager there saying that we do not condone the actions of Trader Joe's and that they should be paying the farmers more. A similar action was actually taken in Oakland a few days ago, and so that's also another good showing of solidarity for people who think that we don't have a message. We are taking similar actions.
So Nashville has a much smaller group in its occupation than other occupations across the globe. How do you think that their direct action group holds up compared to other occupations across the globe?
I think that our direct action group is one of our strongest working groups. The people who are in direct action are amazing. They're intelligent, they're well informed, they're fearless, they have heart. And I think that the more direct action we begin to take part in, and the more we are educating the masses as to why we are taking this direct action, the more our numbers will grow. Everyone likes to be involved in something. It's hard to convince people to come out and sit at a General Assembly. Even though they are important, they're very important. It's a lot easier to say, why don't you come out and yell at Donald Rumsfeld with us? And this is where our direct action group can really help swell our numbers by doing the research and finding topics that everyone agrees on. Everyone wants us to be out of Iraq, or almost everyone. Everyone finds it absurd that, Walmart only gives minimal benefits. So these are issues that concern everyone and can draw people to the cause. And we have the same heart as other groups. We just don't have the numbers yet. And we will have the numbers. I really think that the more we get out there, the more we publicize what we're doing, what we're for, we continue to be open, all-inclusive, we'll only grow.
And these actions that y'all have been doing, how do y'all plan these? Who comes up with the ideas? How do y'all organize this?
Well, anyone can submit a proposal for an action. Actually, because we're a group of individuals, anyone can really say, I'm going to go march on Bank of America tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Who wants to go with me? And generally, you'll find people, because we have plenty of people who are living on the plaza, who will say, okay, let's take this action. We don't really have anything else to do. We don't like Bank of America, and we know why. Let's go march. But the more intense actions, the more complicated actions, such as the Donald Rumsfeld dinner, we get, advance notice of these events happening. There is a direct action working group within our community that then begins to discuss the logistics of it. How are we going to get people there? When are we going to march? What kinds of signs do we need? how do we publicize this? We have a calendar on our website, occupynashville.org, where you can go and see all the events planned, and they are added to the calendar as they come up. So anyone is really open to submit an action. If you come to GA and you say, I want to march on Whole Foods because I really don't think that their organic food is organic, people might have some questions for you, and they might want you to, back up why you want to do this, but you could find support and you could actually have this action carried out by other people with you, so you're not alone in your protest.
So what do you think Direct Action's next step is going to be?
I think Direct Action's next step, and it's a step that we've been working on, is to continue to reach out to local organizations, such as I know Vanderbilt has a group of student farmers, things like that, and to reach out to them and help them in their demonstrations, and in turn learn more about their causes so that maybe we can form our own actions. We will continue our actions against the banks, of course, and with it being the holiday season, we'll continue our actions against major retailers. Also, the second biggest shopping day of the year is December 26th, so we'll at least be going strong with that through then. We would also like to see more discussion groups to find solutions through consensus, things like that, really open up discussion. And once we start opening up discussion, we can find more problems that people are seeing, which will, again, lead to more actions.
And if somebody was interested in becoming a part of Occupy Nashville or the Direct Action team, how would they do so?
I would recommend that anyone who is interested in becoming a part of the Direct Action team or just a part of Occupy Nashville in general, come down to our General Assemblies Monday through Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday and Sunday at 1 p.m. We're a friendly group. We break into working groups, and Direct Action normally meets on the back steps. They might change that, but that's where they normally meet. And we're all welcoming, and they'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have, to tell you what we're about, give you an idea. Every General Assembly, we go through the process of General Assembly, how it works, what the hand signals mean, just to try to keep anyone from coming in and feeling overwhelmed and lost. We want you to come in and immediately feel like you're part of a community and that you can contribute something to our movement.
Special thanks again to Wolfie, Jason, and Brittany for taking the time out of their busy lives to sit and talk with me about what all is going on here in Nashville. I really applaud their devotion to their cause, and am really appreciative for all they are doing to try to make a positive impact in our community. And that's it for this edition of This Occupied Life. Thank you all for tuning in. I encourage you to come down and take part in a General Assembly, which take place right here at Legislative Plaza, Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. and 1 p.m. on the weekends. We are located at 6th and Charlotte, right across from the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. So come down and have your voices heard. And be sure to tune in next week as we take a look at the role that music, arts, and culture have in the movement on a national scale. It's going to be a very interesting show, so make sure that you tune in next Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. for This Occupied Life on 107.1 Radio Free Nashville.
What happened? What happened? You got shot. What's your name? What's your name? Shit. If there ever was a time, it would be now. That's all I'm saying. If there ever was a time to get on your feet, take it to the street. You're the one that's getting played right now by the game they're playing. Come on, meet me down at the party park and say, oh, where are the youth? We need you now. Come speak the truth, come break it down. Where are the youth? We need you now. If there ever was a time, it would be now to make the masters see this. If there ever was a time to get downtown and get non-violent and fearless, things only get brighter when you light a spark. Everywhere you go right now, it's the party park. And News Corp says you don't have a plan. Well, sit down, man, I'll tell you again. The plan is to stand together, up to green. in a veteran's face won't change the case. Oh, where are the youth? We need you now. Come speak the truth, come break it down. Where are the youth? We need you now. If there ever was a time, it would be now for the rest of us. If there ever was a time, it would be now. 'Cause money and power will set to us, and the moment makes a movement, oh, it fades out in the dark. Come on, meet me down, it's a garden park. And I saw a sign in the Oakland Spring, said occupy everything. A buying, throwing up won't mean a thing. Oh, where are the youth? We need you now. Come speak the truth, come break it down. Where are the youth? We need you now. If there ever was a time, it would be now. That's all I'm saying. If there ever was a time to get on your feet, take it to the streets. 'Cause you're the one who's getting played right now by the game they're playing. Come on, meet me down, it's a party park. Come on, meet me down, it's a party park. Come on, meet me down, it's a party park. I felt the rise up in me, kneel down and clear the stone of leaves. I wander out where you can see, inside my shell I wait and breathe. I felt the air rise up in me, kneel down and clear the stone of leaves. I wander out where you can see, inside my shell I wait and breathe. Goodbye, I love it about time, the night is bright out this time. Everything is 3D fast for me. My ears are red and gold, the air is standing straight up. This is not the way I picture me. I can't control my shakes, how the hell did I get here? Something about this is very wrong. I have to live out loud, I wish I didn't like this. Is it a dream or remember me? I felt the air rise up in me, kneel down.
Greetings, all you activists and revolutionaries from across the globe. This is Matt Hamill, the host of This Occupied Life, encouraging you all to come out to Legislative Plaza to attend a General Assembly. Come out and see what democracy really looks like, and have your voices heard. General Assemblies are held Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. and 1 p.m. on the weekends, on the steps in front of Legislative Plaza at 6th and Charlotte, across from TPAC. And be sure to tune in to 107.1 WRFN every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. for This Occupied Life, to get an insider's look into the Occupy Nashville movement. Solidarity, my friends. We'll see you there.